Okay. Good morning, everyone. All right, we are live. Today's Friday. Welcome to Friday, the last day of the trading week. I have been live streaming every day this week. So looks like that's going to be the routine for the foreseeable future. And all right, let's see what's happening in the market today. Let's just get into it. Okay. All right, let's get into it. Let's see. SQFT. SQFT. Oh, I'm trying to get my 10-second chart back on. I did it yesterday, but I'll deal with that in a second. Okay, so let's see. Where did it go? I'll have to figure that out in a minute. Okay, so SQFT. Well, it has no news. The float is under 1 million. The relative volume is way over my criteria. And good morning. And it's gapped up more than 10%, but I do not see news. So we are going to sit on our hands on this one, but I will watch it. Maybe news will pop up. Let's see. Actually, on Thinkorswim, all it says is that it increased. Okay, so sometimes the news on Thinkorswim is just a summary of various stocks that have gone up. And it seems like that is the case. So I do not see stock-specific news for SQFT, but now we have IQST. What is IQST? Well, those look remarkably similar. All right, but I don't see news on that one either. So IQST also meets my stock selection criteria, but it does not have news. So that means we are going to have to skip that one for now. Unless we see something that looks like news. Let's see, there was news on the 7th, but that's way too old. So I'm not looking at that. Let's see. So right now we have 2 stocks that have popped up on my scanners. They meet 4 of my 5 stock selection criteria. So, but they do not have news, and I am not going to trade stock without a news catalyst today. If the market was hot, that would be a different story, but I'm being ruthless today, but sticking to my criteria for stock selection. All right, let's see. All right. Fridays seem to be a little slower generally. So I don't know how much will pop up today, but you know, we'll see what we can do. I'm going to try to get that 10-second chart back up. I don't know. It didn't like oh, what just happened? There we go. Oh no. All right. Uh-oh. Technical difficulties. And my video capture isn't there. What's going on? All right. We're getting back into I'm there. But why am I not there? We're having technical difficulties here. Okay. And I'll get myself back up in a second. You can still hear me, right? You can still hear me? Okay, that's probably the most important thing. Looks like it's here. Video exists, but for some reason... Okay, let me remove it. Can you hear me? Yep, you can hear me. Okay, so I'm going to refigure my video. Okay, we're back. Live streaming. Live streaming. Okay. Well, IQST fell off Ross's 5 Pillars stock scanner. I use Warrior Trading scanners. So I guess it must have, or SQFT fell off. So sometimes they pop on and off. LRHC, but it's under $1. I am not interested. It's just, I feel like I'm just scalping really small amounts and there's a small margin for error. So if we look at it, LRHC, first of all, it moves in increments of thousandths instead of hundreds. And it's just really hard to get, oh, good morning. Good morning, Czar. It's really hard to make a move on these penny stocks, right? So I'm curious if anybody trades them, but I don't. I haven't had great luck with them, so I stick to stocks over $1 that aren't penny stocks, because penny stocks aren't just stocks under $1. I forget the official definition. Let's see. Penny stocks. But you'll see stocks that are over $1 that are penny stocks. I guess it's technically common shares that trade less than $5 a share, but oh, we've got something popping up here, so let's take a look. That is LRHC. Yeah, that's LRHC. So again, it's a penny stock, or it's under $1. I'll say under $1 because a penny stock is misleading. It's not technically why I'm not trading it, but under $1, and also it does not have news. But let's see what else. The volume, the relative volume is very high. It's gapped up. The float is under 1 million, but yeah. It doesn't have news, so it would be disqualified anyway from, it doesn't meet 2 of my stock selection criteria. It doesn't have news, and it's under $1. So, again, I know I sound like a broken record, but this has been a tough month for me, the last month of trading. So I am being ruthless about sticking to my criteria for stock selection. I'm curious, what do you guys use for your criteria for stock selection? I mean, if you're here on this live stream or on my channel, you're either a new momentum trader or interested in becoming a momentum trader. But I'm curious, what are you doing now? Are you doing I'm curious if anyone shorts stocks. I'm terrified of shorting stocks. I don't think I could do that, but that looks really scary. Let's see. Let's see. I'm going to look at Warrior Trading's top gainers scanner to see if there is anything else there, but doesn't look like there's anything else that is popping out at me. SLP has breaking news. Well, it's 6 a.m., but that is priced at $14.95. So it's over $10. That means if I trade a stock over $10, I have traded stocks between $10 and $20, but if I trade a stock over $20, I'm going to run out of settled funds a lot faster. I do not trade on margin. I have a cash account, and so I would run out of funds real fast. So it has to be really worth it for me to trade a stock over $10. But if I trade stocks under $10, I can make a bunch of trades in a day. And you know, if I'm getting 10 cents a share, an average of 10 cents a share, maybe even 20 cents a share on those stocks, then I am able to make more progress on my monthly goal. So let's see, what else do we have? LOT. I'm going to look at that one. It's pretty far down on the scanner, but it's on there. It's over $1. Oh, no. Okay. It is over $1, and it does have news. It says their earnings per share it looks like their earnings per share was good for this quarter. However, and it's below 20 million shares for the float. No, it's 151 million. Oh my. Okay, nope. Look at that. Now the outstanding shares is 678 million, but the float is less than that. Okay, the float is 151 million, but it's still way over my 20 million limit. And I have a video on float that's on my channel, and that explains the difference between outstanding shares and float. So if you're interested in that, because that is one of my criteria of stock selection, so check it out. So sometimes you'll see me trading a stock where the outstanding shares are over 20 million, but the float is under 20 million. So check out that video and it explains it more in depth. Because I was completely confused when I started trading, like, what is float? I thought float was another name for outstanding shares, but it's different. Float is less, usually. So, oh, I see we have another person pop on. Welcome. All right, so this has been slow so far this morning. Let's see, how is the stock market? I check every day, doing today. So let's see what's going on. It's giving me news as of yesterday's close. It's not even, let's see, how's the stock market doing Friday? Stock futures were largely flat to slightly lower on Friday morning. Okay, so as investors cautiously awaited key consumer, right? The consumer price index comes out today. Yesterday, the gross domestic product numbers came out from BLS, which is the Bureau of Labor Statistics. I used to work for the U.S. Department of Labor, so they were one of our agencies. And today the CPI comes out. I actually talk about this in my Monday post on Substack. If you're interested in more in-depth analysis on like economic indicators and how that might impact the stock market during the week, I talk about that in my Monday post. And I'm posting Monday, Wednesday, Friday, where I go over, I kind of check in on my weekly goal. This week, my goal was volume. So yes. Hi, HG. How are you? Yes, I'm strict about, yes, I am. I follow Warrior Trading. I've taken his classes. He's very good. I use his scanners. Ross Cameron's great. He's a good dude, and I've learned a lot. However, I'm going to be honest. I'm still struggling to get through his advanced course because, as a new trader, he gives you like all the information you could possibly want. He is so experienced. However, as a new trader, I really needed to sort of filter through that and figure out what exactly I needed to do as a new trader. What are the top things to focus on? Because you can't focus on everything. So here on my channel, what I've been doing to help myself and new traders is focus on the like top 2% to 5% of things that you need as a new trader. But yeah, he's fantastic. Like I said, I use his scanners. You don't have to pay for scanners. There are ways to set it up on your broker's platform. Like on Thinkorswim, there are ways to kind of get a lot, not all of it, but kind of get a lot of the scanner features that you need done, because on Thinkorswim there is something called ThinkScript. So you can actually customize your scanners using ThinkScript. And ThinkScript is basically programming. I think it's JavaScript. I'm not sure, but you can plug into ChatGPT, or I use ChatGPT and I use Claude AI a lot. You can plug into AI or Gemini and ask it, give me a ThinkScript script for for this criteria to, like, for example, before I subscribed to Warrior Trading scanners, I was setting up my own scanners in Thinkorswim, and actually I think they would be better now. I really didn't know what I was doing, but I plugged into Gemini, give me a ThinkScript give me ThinkScript for finding more than 5 times, greater than 5 times the 50-day moving average. And it did. The thing you have to be careful of, and I am not a programmer. I mean, I took some programming classes a long time ago. I was considering programming for retirement, but the thing is, it would give me like multiple versions because there's not one way to program something, right? So, and you have to make sure that you're actually getting the result you want. But you can set up scanners in Thinkorswim, and maybe I'll do a video on that at some point. But everyone's so tech savvy now. I'm 55. I'm still learning, and I love AI. I absolutely use it for everything, but like, it's you still have to use your brain, because I will plug a question into AI and it will give me an answer, and I'm like, that is so off base. I think also it's only as good as the information you're giving it. All right, UCAR is still kind of on the radar. UCAR. I believe this was a Chinese stock. It's been popping up over the last couple of days. Let's see. Yep, this is a Chinese stock. And those can be tricky. It's not that I don't trade them. I do. It's just that I make sure that I'm being really strict about my stock selection and about my indicators. I don't play loose with Chinese stocks. If I see a Chinese stock that is like the most obvious stock, as Ross Cameron says, the most obvious stock of the day, and it meets all my criteria for stock selection, then I will trade it. But I don't play loose with that. So right now it's snoozeville. There is like nothing going on, but that's okay, because we can use the downtime to talk about other things and get good. So, downtime in the market, when, first of all, you have to sit there, right? You can't just hop in and out for 10 minutes and expect to make money or get good at trading. You have to spend time in front of the screen watching the charts. And if you are new, please start with paper trading, because stock trading is so risky. I wish I had done it longer. I did paper trade for about 4 months, I think. Let's see, last year, February, March, April, May, June, July. Oh, almost 6 months I paper traded. Then I switched to real money. I wish I had stuck with a simulator way longer. Ross Cameron has a simulator. I think all the brokers have one. Thinkorswim has paper money. Webull has it. So please, 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 trade in a simulator first. But even if it's a half hour a day, an hour a day, if you make time to sit down consistently in front of the charts, you are going to start to see, patterns. Okay, a lot of it is pattern recognition, right? So you will start to see patterns, and that's a large part of it, I think. I really do. So try to keep that consistency. But, if there isn't anything that's popping up, you're probably asking yourself, like, what can I do during that time? Please don't waste that time, okay? So right now, let's kind of go over, well, today there are no trades, right? But I use TraderView for my analysis of my stocks. I actually just got an affiliate link, and I have a referral link in my description and in my homepage. I've been using TraderView since last summer, and it has been awesome. I just upgraded to the gold plan. Hey, good morning. Good morning. And I just upgraded to the gold plan because it gives you more features, of course. But I just got an affiliate link. I'll start posting that in my descriptions and on my profile. But I do love it. You don't have to pay, though, for something to track your trades. you should be tracking them, but at a minimum, like in a Google spreadsheet. I mean, that's so easy. And just, you definitely should be tracking them. Now, if you're new, am I EMA or SMA? I'm team EMA. Actually, good question. I use the 9 EMA and the 20 EMA on my 1 minute and 5 minute chart. And actually, yesterday I tried the 10-second chart, thanks to HG. Thank you, HG. And I have to put the 10-second chart back on here for today. I use the 200 SMA on my daily chart. So I have the 200 SMA on my daily chart. I know some people use both to kind of compare. I don't know, maybe I'll play with it in the future, but that's what I'm doing right now. But I'm definitely on my 1 minute and 5 minute and 10-second, when I put that back up, EMA, because it reacts to the more recent price candles more strongly. And I actually did a video on the 9 EMA. That's on my channel. I'm going to be doing a video on the 20 EMA. I really do feel like the 9 EMA is one of the most important indicators you can look at. Obviously, there's a million indicators. You can't look at them all. That's crazy. But I think that you want to pick a few that seem to be working for you. And yeah, the exponential moving average, I do explain in my video why, the difference between the exponential and the simple moving average. And I don't think we have to be manually calculating the math behind all of these indicators every day, but I do think a basic understanding of the math behind the indicators is helpful, because otherwise we're just using the indicator sort of robotically, and I feel like it's really important to have a basic understanding of the math behind it. I'm not expecting, I don't calculate it by hand, obviously, but understanding why. Why would I use the EMA over the SMA? So that's a great question. Thank you. All right, so we're still kind of waiting for things to pop up. A few things popped up, but nothing that met my criteria for stock selection. However, I just wanted to look at my trader view for the month. Yesterday turned things around for me. Okay, I was actually slightly red on the month when I started the day yesterday. I had a red day, my first trading day of the month. Boo-hoo, that was sad. I didn't like that at all. And then I had a rough day on Monday. And of course, if you're interested about my red days, go and check my recaps. I do a recap every day. And then I've had 3 green days in a row. So I will be very cautious today, because I'm on a green streak and I want to hold on to that streak. Plus, the market has been very so I will be strict with my criteria for stock selection and my technical indicators, as strict as I can be. I made mistakes this week. Definitely, I have documented them in my recaps. And my goal is to just get 1% better every day. I'm a new trader. I've been trading for about a year, since last summer with real money, and it is a steep learning curve. My entire career was finance and accounting, either in finance and accounting or finance adjacent. I was in procurement for a long time, and I have an MBA. I had solid long-term and mid-term investing skills, but day trading is a whole other animal. So I have been, the learning curve is steep, but I love it. It's a crazy ride, but I love it. So because I have been green for 3 days, now I know these look like small numbers. I've had much better months, but this is the market we're in, and if I can stick to my plan and stay consistent right now, then I do believe that when the market heats up, because last summer when I started, and in the fall, I got lucky. I'm going to be honest. I had some good trades. Wow, but I got lucky, but I was inconsistent. I would have bad days, good days. So My goal today is to hold on to that. I'm green on the week. So for the week, let's see, let's look at the week. Let's see I am currently green on the week by $29, okay? And then on the month, I am green on the month, $25. I know that sounds small, but it is so better than being red. And I want to hold on to that. So I am going to be very careful about the trades that I take today, because generally I trade with 500 shares. And you can see here on TraderView, each trade gets a little page, right? And you can see on this trade, I traded 500 shares. I bought and sold, so my round trip was 1,000. I risked 10 cents a share, so $50. So I put this in for every trade, and I track the type of setup. And so if I trade I'm up $25 for the month, right? If I take a trade today and I risk $50 and that is a red trade, then I'm going to be down for the month. So I'm going to be very careful about the very next trade that I take. And I don't want to over-focus on profits and losses, but I want to focus mostly on learning, right? My goal is to get 1% better every single day, every single week. I have a goal for the week, and I review that on Substack Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And my goal is to get 1% better every day. But I also do want to look at it in the larger context of my profit and loss, because I'm in it to make money. And so I want to keep in mind where I'm at on the week and the month. So my next trade, I'm going to be very, very careful, because that could put me back in the red for the week and the month, or it could keep my green streak going. So let's see. Really nothing popping up on the scanners. We had UCAR that popped up. Now it's under VWAP. SQFT. And again, none of these met all my criteria for stock selection. These are just stocks that popped up on my scanner. SQFT is sort of hovering up and down above VWAP. Okay. LRHC. LOT. Nope. Look at the volume is so low on LOT, and it's so many shares. I mean, that's so far outside of my criteria for stock selection. I keep my float under 20 million, ideally under 10 million, and this is so, the shares outstanding are so high, right? And IQST again. Wow, it's crickets, right? So now I also keep up on my Thinkorswim. These are where my watch lists are. Let's do a little tour, of actually over this way. I have to get used to the fact I have my laptop to the left of my bigger monitor. So let's take a tour over here. Okay. So I keep my watch lists on the left side column, and I usually have the stocks that I'm looking at that day here, and Thinkorswim has a bunch of preset watch lists, and this is called pre-market movers. So I do keep that up, but these aren't screened for my criteria for stock selection. Okay, we had someone pop up. All right, so let's get rid of all this, and let's look at what just popped up. Something popped up. BENF. That does sound familiar. That sounds familiar. It says Beneficient closes 8.75 million GP primary capital transaction. All right, that's 7:30 news. News comes out at the top of the hour and the bottom of the hour. So let's check. The price is between $1 and $10. Check. The float is 1.05 million. It's under 20. Check. The relative volume is 896, which is well over 5. So that meets my relative volume criteria. Check. And it's gapped up 30% over the previous day's close. And it has breaking news. Okay, So this meets all of my pillars. Well, Ross Cameron's 5 pillars of stock selection, which is what I use for my criteria. I want to make sure I credit him with that because his classes are amazing. I follow him. I watch his recaps every day. So let's take a look. This could be the pull of a bull flag pullback, which is the only setup I'm taking unless I see something really, really, really obvious, okay? So if it is a bull flag pullback, this would be the pull, but now that looks like it was a micro pullback. It pulled back for a minute and it kept going higher, but I'm actually struggling with my micro pullback. Whoa, okay, we're popping up. So let's see, we've got a lot of, I don't see any huge orders. I don't see any huge orders on the level 2 ask, but I'm going to be strong. Oh, it was so tempting to jump in on that micro pullback, but I am going to stick to my plan and look for a bull flag because what did I say earlier? I want to be really cautious about that first trade, and I know that the bull flag pullback is a cautious setup for me. So this is a potential one, though. This is definitely a potential. What does the news say here? It says a technology-enabled platform providing blah, 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 blah. Announced it is closed on the financing of an $8.75 million primary capital commitment. Well, I'm not sure. That means they spent cash, right? Am I wrong? Yeah. When I evaluate the news, I do look more at the fundamental analysis side of it. Does that mean they spent cash, right? If they finished financing, that means they're investing, which means they're going to have less cash. But it does seem to be driving the stock up regardless, right? So right now, this is actually the high of the low candle, and this is the top. Oh, look at that. Now, if it comes up real quick, this would give me 10 cents a share. The difference between the top of this low candle and the high of day would give me 10 cents a share. That's a possibility, but I want to see confirmation on this candle, and this one is also red. So I think, whoops, I'm going to get rid of this line. I think now that this is the low candle, okay? Well, this could give me even 20 cents a share. Like I said, I'm going to be very careful, but so far, it looks like we have a pull and the bull flag. This is the flag. There are 3 parts to a bull flag pullback, right? The pull, the flag, and the breakout, right? So this would be the pull. This would be the bull flag, okay? Oh, I wish I had my 10. Let me see. Let me look at the 10-second chart. On the 10-second chart, I wish I had it up. I should have put it up while we were talking. What is this? BENF. Okay. So on the 10-second chart, yep, it's popping up a little bit. I'll try to get this 10-second chart back on my display after this. Thank you, HG, for turning me on to the 10-second chart. Now, this looks like it's the low, but you can see it's dropped below VWAP. I don't love that at all. It could pop up. Now it's tapping the 9 EMA. Okay. Now it's going past the 9 EMA, heading towards the 20 EMA. I am way less excited about this right now. Way less excited. Okay, it's popping up. It tapped the 9 EMA. But if I were to get in at 5:15, I would want to see a lot of volume on this candle here. That's my theme of the week, volume. I've been burned so many times. It's popping up on the 10-second and on the 1 minute, but I would really want to see confirmation with this candle here, volume on this candle here. And it would have to pop above VWAP. I am not getting in unless it's above VWAP and I see confirmation with volume. Well, we are 10 seconds left on this candle, so I don't think that's going to happen because it's pulling back on the 10-second chart. Wow, this 10-second chart is a game changer. I got to put this back on my screen. So now this is the low candle. All right, it looks like it is trending up, but see how the volume is pulling back with the price action? I want to see not only the price pop above the high of the low candle, but I really need to see it go above VWAP. That's a no-go for me. If it doesn't pop above VWAP, I'm not interested. And to be honest, I would want, I think, to see it, like I want to see confirmation once it pops above. So on the 10-second, it's pulling back. I do not love this. I will not get in here. The MACD is still green down here. But in a hot market, I would be loosey-goosey with these, with this, but not today. Not today, Satan. I am not going to be fooled. All right, so it looks like it's kind of hovering right under VWAP, which is now obviously a point of resistance. If we look on the daily chart, the 200 simple moving average is at $12.12. We have, let's look at some of the price action. We have a window up to 5, and here 524. So another window up to almost 8, 7 something. I think this has potential to go up, but it's a Friday. The market's not hot. Let's see what's running up. And on the 10-second, it is consolidating sideways, right under VWAP. So I am not taking this trade unless totally aligned with your thinking about BENF. Thank you. Yeah, I'm feeling it. I think it's struggling. It wants to pop up, but it passed test number 1. Test number 1 is it meets my criteria for stock selection. Test number 2 is the indicators, right? Okay, so we have something else that popped up, CREG, but it is under $1, so I'm not going to look at that yet. I'm going to look and see if we get a break of VWAP on BENF. So because under $1 does not meet my criteria for stock selection, so we're not going to look at that. Let's stay with BENF, but it passed test number 1, but now test number 2, it's not, the indicators are not giving me the right, they're not pointing all in the same direction. It's above the 9 EMA, right? See this, it's tapping the 9 EMA on the 1-minute chart, and it is, the VWAP is resistance. So the 9 EMA looks like support, it's holding up the price action, and the VWAP is acting as resistance, okay? Yeah. Looks like a fade off of VWAP. What do you guys think? What do you think, HJ? Fade off of VWAP? I think we're seeing a fade off of VWAP. And if you look at the 5-minute chart, the volume is pulling back significantly. Oh my, look at that. I don't want to be like, I told you so, because I want to take a trade today. I want to make money. You know, I don't want to just sit here. But I would rather not take a trade than take a bad trade. Okay, it's better in the long run. It hurts today to sit out, but I would rather sit out than make a bad decision, because all we can control is like our decisions, right? I found Annie Duke's books through Warrior Trading, and I read 2 of her books. She was a professional female poker player, so was her brother, but she wrote some really good books. I think she won the World Series of Poker. I'm not sure. Big time poker player, like really big time poker player. And her books talk a lot about, she has a book called Quit, like when to quit. And she talks about how the timing of walking away is really important. But she also talks about divorcing in one of her books, the decision from the result. And this is something that I have been working on in my trading so much. I cannot control the result. I cannot control the market. I wish I had that power. That would be the most amazing superpower, but I don't. So, all right, now the MACD is red. That is a no-go for me, right? Green go, red no on MACD. I did a video on MACD. I think it's coming out this weekend. On the weekends and non-trading days, I will be posting educational content. And I will go into depth about the MACD. It is definitely more complicated than simply green buy, red don't buy. However, that is the beginner level of MACD. If you want to know a little bit more about it, I will be posting, I think that video is coming out either Saturday or Sunday, where I discuss what all these little squiggles are down here. So I do think that it is important to understand the math behind the indicators. You don't have to be a math genius. I'm not a math genius, but I think that it is important because it helps you understand why that indicator is important. Okay, so I am definitely a fan of understanding what's happening behind the indicator. Okay, not simply be a robot. Like, I want you guys to understand why. Why are we doing what we're doing? So let me see if I can get this 10-second chart back. I really thought, let's see, new source, window capture. Let's see if I can get this back. I think that's it, right? Nope, that's not it. So move, let me try again. Oh yeah, that was it. All right. When you're 55 and learning to do technology. Yes, I am live streaming at 55. Okay, so this one, let's put this up here. How can I make this longer? Not, let's see. That looks better. I don't know. It might be hard to see. I'll try to put it here, but that way we can get multi-time frame alignment. WRAP. WRAP just popped up. Okay. So WRAP, let's check this out. Test one, right? What is the stock selection? So it has breaking news. It lands a major pre-order for over 20 drone and counter drone systems. I love defense stuff, okay, in the current climate. I just like it in general because I did procurement for the federal government. I did government contracting for a long time. And I understand the value of government contracts to these companies financially. All right, so I like that news. However, let's, look at news. We should look at the news critically. This is an agreement to do something in the future. This is not actually something that has happened or is happening, right? Well, they got a purchase order. That can be canceled, but that's good news. That's really good news. Okay, the stock price is between $1 and $10. The float is under 20 million. The relative volume is more than 5 times the 50-day average, and it's gapped up more than 10%. So this is a possibility. However, just looking at the chart, I don't like this topping tail. Okay, already it looks kind of choppy to me. Okay, this stock is hard to borrow, and they're located in Miami. Okay. So I'm going to watch this because honestly, there isn't much else to watch right now since BENF, MACD is red. I won't even consider it. I've been burned too many times by everything else looking good but my MACD being red. I've just been burned too many times. Yes. Yep, MACD, absolutely. When the MACD is opening up, it's even better, right? So MACD green is good. MACD when the MACD is green, but when it's opening up this part right here, that's the best. Okay, you can see it mirrors the price action. It mirrors the volume candles. Everything's pointing in the same direction. If we go back to WRAP, it's hovering right around VWAP. The thing is, what I don't like about WRAP is look at the total volume. It's only 500,000. Yes, the relative volume is high, but the total volume is really low. And look at how slow the price action is on the level 2. The order, look at the time in sales. It's just kind of, I mean, if you look at a stock with a lot of volume, the prices are just whipping by on the level 2. And it's hovering right around VWAP. This topping tail makes me nervous. This might have been an algo spike because the news came out. Let's see, the news came out at 7:45. It is creeping up. I could be wrong on this, but I think I want to see a clean bull flag pullback for me. You might be braver and want to take this trade because it's broken above VWAP, but I'm not seeing confirmation on the volume bar here. See, it did break above VWAP, right? But look at this. The volume bars are low. So my theme for the week has been volume. And I think I just discovered something else about volume to really pay attention to, which is the total daily volume. The total daily volume. So this week, my original goal was to look at the relative volume because I actually took a couple of trades last week where I didn't, I missed the relative volume on my stock selection criteria. And what ended up happening is I went red on those trades. So, but then when I got into the week, I realized that I also needed to make sure that my volume bars were congruent. Look at this, the price is going up, but it's low volume. And I want to wait for a bull flag. You know, maybe this is the pull of the bull flag, and that's great. So midweek, if you go over my Substack, I document my weekly goals. And midweek, I realized that I actually had 2 goals. I wanted to look at relative volume, but also make sure these volume bars were offering confirmation. Okay. And now I'm kind of realizing there's a third piece, this total volume. Yes, it looks good on paper, but look at how low the total volume is. It's picking up though. It's picking up for sure. Okay, I think this is really good news. Purchase orders can be canceled, but I don't know for sure, but a lot of times a purchase order is made against an existing contract. So I don't know. I feel like that's pretty good news, honestly. Sometimes the news is awful, but I feel like this is pretty good news. So, give me 1 second. All right, I'm back. Sorry. Just had to say goodbye to my daughter. She's heading off for her college class. My kids are grown. One works, one's in college. Okay, so it is pulling back. We have a bull flag, possibly. This is a possible bull flag. High of day at 184. The top of the low candle is 178. That's not even giving me 10 cents a share. Oh, look at that. It's pulling back more than 50% of this pull. I don't like that. And it's touching the 9 EMA. It's below VWAP. I don't love that. I mean, I could be wrong, but you're seeing a float of 39 million. Let's see, VWAP, 39 million. Oh, I missed that. Thank you. I'm seeing 35. Thank you. I missed that. So there you go. Thank you. This is why I'm live streaming, right? We're helping each other out. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. Yes, I missed that. See, I don't know why. I have a blind spot for that. Okay, so WRAP is out of the running. They're out of the running. That's it. Thanks, HG. That put it out of the running for me. It did not pass the first test. So, yep. Float's too high. Float is too high. And look at that. Yep. So let's go back to BENF maybe. Wow. See, I don't know why I have a blind spot for the relative volume. There's so many things to look at, and I've been missing that on the chart. So I'm wondering, I feel really stupid that I missed that because that is exactly what I missed last week. So I'm wondering if I can customize this chart. I wonder if I can hide any of the columns on this scanner because I would love to have just the columns that I want. I will have to investigate that more because for some reason, and it's highlighted. It's highlighted. Here, I'll show you. So this is what Warrior Trading scanners look like. I use the running up scanner, the top gainers scanner, and the 5-pillar scanner. Look, it floats highlighted. How did I miss that? I feel so stupid. But I'm such a dum-dum, but this is why it's important to get as much practice as you can. And I don't mean with real money. You can trade with paper money. Please do. But I'm missing something so basic, right? So silly. Okay. So WRAP is definitely out of the running. They didn't make the cut. And now look at this, way below the VWAP, 9 EMA, 20 EMA, and the MACD is red. So now I have taken higher float stocks like in a hot market, but I don't think it's worth it. Okay. Yep, they're disqualified. Sorry, WRAP. You are cut. So I'm curious, where do you guys find your stocks? Let me know in the chat. Do you have your own scanners? Do you create a scanner in your broker's platform? Like, how do you find your stocks? I'm curious. So if we look at the 10-second chart, we really don't have a lot going on today. BENF, yep, it's still kind of drifting off VWAP. La la la. Oh, UGRO popped up. That was kind of popular for a while. Let's see, UGRO. I took trades on that, was it a couple of weeks ago? But it doesn't have any news. And it's over $10. I just really prefer, and it's below VWAP, but it looks like it's trying to climb back up to break over VWAP. SLP, LOT, we already looked at that one. Really not a lot going on today. Like, So I'm going to go back to my trader view because I want to look at, okay, so I'm going to put the month, this month. And I want to look at the tag breakdown again. So I've been tracking my setups And don't look here. Don't look here. It says no setup. That's so embarrassing. I think that might have been yesterday. No setup. Just fly by the seat of my pants. Okay. So this is embarrassing. But it looks like they're ordered in alphabetical order. But I guess I could put them in order of, what does it mean, graph? This isn't like, is this the, it's not the dollar amount. Okay, or how many trades? Let's look at that. So out of all of my trades, I did a bull flag pullback the most, and I had the best result on it. So you can see why I'm sticking with the bull flag pullback. I haven't been tracking this that long, just a couple of weeks. I wish I had tracked it from the beginning. That would have really helped me. I guess I could go back and try to label them as I go, but like go back and label them retroactively, but I feel like it's really hard to know what I was even thinking at the time. And embarrassingly, there are lots of trades that I didn't take a setup on. I didn't have a setup, which is why I started tagging, because I realized that I was taking trades without a setup at some point. Okay, so these are the setups that I've tried though. Bull flag pullback. The runner-up is micro pullback. I feel like it's a beauty contest. And our winner is bull flag pullback. And the runner-up from Kentucky, micro pullback. So I have really struggled with this, as you can see. Okay, so we had RAYA pop up, but it's under $1. So I'm not even going to look at that one. I've struggled with the micro pullback. Even before I started tagging my trades with the setup, I felt like it wasn't really working. So the thing is, I see it a lot. So I am going to be doing a video on the micro pullback this weekend. I'm not sure when it'll come out, maybe the following weekend. And I'm going to dive deep into the micro pullback and analyze this trade to see if I can improve my own metrics on that. Okay, I took 5 breakover whole dollar, half dollar. I am seeing that more and more. Okay, and what I did on Thinkorswim is I actually changed my grids so that my grids are at the half dollar and whole dollar. Okay. So, because before, whatever setting I had it on, it was like scaling it to the chart, which is great, but I was having trouble seeing the half dollar, whole dollar. Since I made that change, I'm actually able to see that setup a lot more. And wow, this month I did it 5 times. That's great. Because I think that's a good setup. Gap and go twice, and I'm red on that. I used to exclusively trade gap and go. When I first started trading last summer, I was only trading at the market open. So I'd trade from about 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time until about 10:30. And I really wasn't getting enough time in front of the charts, enough exposure. It was only an hour. And I was getting lucky a lot. I'm seeing the gap and go, but I'm not taking it as often, and I'm liking it less and less. It feels less and less stable because I just don't know when it's going to turn over. Break of VWAP, I took it twice. I'm seeing that a lot, and I would like to explore that setup more. No setup, I don't really feel like that needs any explanation. That's embarrassing, but I used to do that a lot, and I am proud of myself that I only have one this month. My goal is to eliminate that completely, okay? And never ever take another no setup trade. I solemnly swear I will not take any more no setup trades. Okay, you heard it here. Okay. I did a parabolic trade. Wow, that was like a little scalp. Parabolic is like gap and go, but just not at the market open, right? It's very similar, but I think when I've traded parabolic, I was actually trading the micro pullbacks within the parabolic move. So I'm going to change this. Can I get in there? Yep. I'm going to change this because I think this tag is not correct. And I have all these tags in here, but I don't even know if I'm going to call that a micro pullback because I do think that was a micro pullback. Actually, let's look at it. Oh, I changed the wrong one. Shoot. Okay. Remove trade, micro pullback. What did I change? Oh no. I changed one of my tags. Uh-oh. Trades. Reports. Tag breakdown. What did I trade? I mean, change. This month. Shoot. Was it micro pullback? Huh. Well, that's messing up my data. As someone who loves spreadsheets, that is really annoying. Okay, so let's go back. All right, so, and then the last one was a flat top breakout. That was a straight up mess, but honestly, I'm not sure that was a flat top breakout. This is another trade that this is another trade that I was trying, but I think I was mislabeling it. I think I was calling things a flat top breakout, but they were possibly not a flat top breakout. So let's look at this one. I'm calling this a flat top breakout, but I think this is a choppy bull flag. See how the volume's going down? I mean, I guess you could call it, it's tapping that number. I guess that is. But a flat top breakout, I think, is often where it tests the same level. In retrospect, I don't think that's a flat top breakout. So let's go back. From this month. Let's see. I'm gonna say this was actually a bull flag, a failed bull flag. So this might skew my data a little bit. So if we look at, because I'm putting these other trades back into the mix, right? This is what to do when you have downtime in the market, right? I mean, nothing's really popping up. So wait, let me this month. Okay, so now that I've kind of reorganized, I do think these other ones were legitimate, except for whatever that trade was that I screwed up and put in another category. Was it break of VWAP? No, there was two of that. Gap and go. Oh, that was the parabolic one I put in gap and go. So we had a stock pop up RAYA, but it is under $1. So I'm not looking at that seriously, but okay. Yep. Nice parabolic action here though, right? Is going, this could be, whoop, there we go. It could be the pull of a bull flag, but I wouldn't trade it because of the price. It's under $1. The float is 2.93 million. Relative volume, 198. Gap. It looks good except that it meets all the criteria except for the price. I don't like penny stocks. Now here, I could have got 10 cents a share in this move, but I've just been burned a lot of times, and I like to wait for the bull flag pullback. And on the bull flag pullbacks, I feel like I'm not going to get 10 cents a share. So if we go back to look at my trader view, you can see here that out of all the trades I took, which were how many this month so far? So far, I've taken 45 trades this month. We're about 1/3 of the way through the month. I've taken 45 trades. My accuracy is horrible, 51%. That's bad for me. I'm barely green. All right, so out of 45 trades, 21 were bull flag pullback, almost half. And look at that. Look at how much, if I had only traded bull flag pullbacks, I would be up $355. Everything else had a net loss, except for the break over the $1.50. Everything else was at a net loss. Yikes. Yikes. Let me look. I have some of March done. So this will give me a little bit more data. Now here, the bull flag pullback. Okay, well, 51 trades. Oh, that's because I had a big red day at the end of March, right? Let me look at March. Last month. Okay, so if I look at just last month, yeah, I had a couple of, well, 30. Wow, I had a bad red trade. Last month was rough. It was rough. Pre-market runner, that's really gap and go. No, pre-market runner, that might be considered parabolic, right? So let's change that. Pre-market runner, let's call that, let's see, parabolic here. Okay. Let's call that parabolic, I think. Let's take a look. No, it's not really parabolic. Yeah, I guess. Let's see. What is a gap and go setup in the pre-market called? Let's ask. Let's find out. Morning gapper, a pre-market gap and go setup is mostly called a morning gapper or a gap and go. So it's still called a gap and go. All right, so let's call this gap and go, regardless of if it is, or should we call it a morning gapper to distinguish it from the open? So yeah, let's get rid of this tag. How is a morning gapper set up different than a parabolic setup? See, I'm learning. I am learning. A morning gapper is a gap up based on overnight news causing an opening price significantly higher than the previous day's close. A parabolic is a climactic vertical price spike, often lasting multiple days. Okay, so let's call it something else, because I don't think this is a parabolic setup. This is where I'm really learning, right? So I'm going to call this a pre-market gapper. Gap and go. Gap and go. Okay. And I'll call this one same thing. Okay. Pre-market gap and go. Huh. Why is it not? So let's look. Tag breakdown. Okay, this one still says parabolic. So I have, I don't see those tags anymore. Oh, I think it untagged them. Oh, what do we have running? What do we have coming up? LFMD. Let's take a look. LFMD. Okay, the price is right. It has breaking news. The float. Oh, the float is almost 40 million. So that is too high. Good news though. Eli Lilly has a new GLP-1 for weight loss management. That's killer news, but the float. Yep. You don't make the cut, LFMD. Sorry. You know, that's how it goes. You grow. Let's take you off the list. BENF. Well, it tried to kind of struggle back up towards VWAP. I think this one could possibly come back up for a break of VWAP. RAYA. Well, this actually looks really good. It's just the price. The price is too low. It pulled back here. That was actually a clean, this was a clean run up, a clean pullback. It made a little false breakout here, but see the volume didn't confirm the breakout. Here, it was still less volume. And then here, this is where it broke out. Okay. Now it's pulling back. It had a false breakout here. It's a little choppy for me. It's choppy, but wow, the daily volume is really high. The daily volume is really high. I think a lot of people are jumping in on this. Well, obviously, if the daily volume is 43 million, then people are jumping in on it. But because it's choppy, I mean, this one had a little bit of a false breakout. This here is look at that. It popped up and there was volume with it and then it rejected. That's what looks like two false breakouts to me. So yes, there's volume. I don't see any huge sellers on the ask. Oh, now I do. Look, 32,000. 14,000. Okay, so this might be a no trade day. Boo. Well, at least I'm not doing damage. That's the good thing. Okay, I'm going to take a quick break for about 5 minutes and I will be back. Okay, I'm back. What did I miss? Okay, let's see. RAYA. Not doing anything of note. Where did my 10-second chart go? There we go. Oh, I see. I have to keep that window open. Okay. I'm learning. So I'll keep this window open like that, just so we can see what's going on. Okay. Yeah, nothing's popping up today. It is possibly a no trade day, and that happens. For those of you who are new to trading, this can be the game sometimes. You just don't know when the stocks are going to pop up, so you have to sit there. But we will use the time wisely. So let's go back to analyzing. I said this was a parabolic move, but I'm calling this a pre-market. Why is it not putting my, maybe because I had a hyphen, pre-market gapper. Let's try that. Does that work? Tag breakdown. Last month was rough. I was in the red a little bit. Okay, so but most of my trades will bull flag pullbacks, micro pre-market gapper, no setup. So if I look, let me go back to this month. If I look at the actual trades, does everything have a tag? It does. Everything has a tag. Okay, so gap and go. That's RAYA. LFMD, let's see. Nope, nothing. It's like a wasteland here right now. Well, I'm about halfway at this point through my morning trading session. This is the halfway point for me. If it's a hot market, I will trade later, but if it's not, I will only trade about 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. I basically just trade through the market open and then I shut it down. And that way I get 3 solid hours of watching the charts, analyzing the charts, improving my process, like analyzing my trades. And after that, I shut it down and do my daily recap, do my analysis. Today, I'm also going to be working on my Friday post on Substack where I will summarize my week. And I don't just list out all my trades. I have a goal set for every week. And this week it was volume. And so the first post on Monday talks about the economic and macroeconomic indicators and things we might be looking at for the week. And I talk about the goal that I'm setting for that week. Wednesday, I'll do a midweek check-in, see how things are going after 3 trading sessions. And then Fridays, I am posting a wrap up where I talk about, did I stick to my goal? How well did I do? And what's my biggest win from the week, my biggest lesson from the week? And also I talk about what is a potential lesson for the next week, a potential goal for the following week. So, yes, this might be one of those days where at 10 a.m. I shut it down, get my recap done, do my Substack post, and I'm done. But when the market's hotter, I have traded till 11:30. So we'll kind of, hopefully the market will pick up eventually. But yes, I am over on Substack, 3 posts a week. There's content for free and paid subscribers. So check it out. It's an extension of what I'm doing here, but it's additional content, deeper content. So, okay. Let's see. So some of my benchmarks, let's see how they're doing today. Bitcoin is up a little bit. Again, that to me is really encouraging in terms of the overall outlook, because it's trending back up. I really was hoping that over here in March it would break over 76, and but looks like it's inching back up, and I think that's excellent news. Okay, we have something popping up. SAGT. Let's take a look. SAGT. All right, it has news from the aftermarket yesterday. The price is right. The float is right. Yeah, 3.84 million. The relative volume is good. The gap indicator, criteria is good. Okay, so this meets 4 of my 5 criteria for stock selection. However, the news is old news. It says initial statement of beneficial ownership of securities. I'm going to be honest. I'm not 100% sure how great this news is, but as my mother used to say, any port in a storm. So since we don't have anything else to look at, let's take a look at this one. SAGT. Okay. So the overall volume is really low, right? It's still under 1 million shares of volume, but it looks like it's kind of picking up fast, right? Things are moving. Up, but it basically made a round trip already. Okay, see that? It popped up. Things were starting to look good, and then it just right down. It's down to the level it was before it started to gap up. So, look at that. What was the news yesterday? Oh, that must have been the news yesterday. Initial statement of beneficial ownership of securities, Form 3. Ooh, that looks, yikes. Are those people shorting? I'm learning, I've taken some of the classes on shorting through Ross Cameron's classes, and I don't want to short. Don't think I would ever short a stock. That looks absolutely terrifying to me, but I think it's important to understand the basics of how shorting works so that you can understand how it affects the price action in the market. Wow. Okay. SAGT. And it popped up to 258, and you can see that the 200. simple moving average was right at 274, so that did act as resistance there. That's the purple one. Why don't I have a tag there on that? Let's see. Huh. I should have a tag on that, right? Let me see. Price axis. Huh. Where's there? So long ago that I set it up that I'm not really 100% sure where. Maybe it's under studies. So, oh, on this one, studies, edit studies. So if I go here and I go into the 200 simple moving average, show study, show plot names, show plot, show bubble, show title. Don't remember which one it is. Say show plot name. Apply. That must not be it. Does anybody know where it is? Show bubble, right? Show bubble. Why isn't it showing it? It's show bubble, right? Like, see how on these it has the bubble that tells the price? I wanted to do that on the 200. Let me see. If I go into studies, let me see what edit studies. Let's look at VWAP. Show study. Show plot. Show. So it said show study, show plot, show bubble, show title. I think that would be it, right? Edit studies. Yeah, I don't know. It's supposed to be there. But anyway, that looks like people are shorting, right? I don't know. That's what that looks like to me, but all right. Let's go back to our analysis. Let's see. Oh, something's popping. Oh, that's RAYA. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, can't fool me again. I mean, now it's the MACD's green again, right? This could be like the pole of another bull flag. Looking at the chart, pulled all the way back, but I didn't like the bull flags over here. I thought they were choppy when it first popped up. So I'm gonna hands off, and also it's under $1. I've just been burned too many times because also, I mean, I could scalp something, but I don't know. Just has to make a big move. Has to make a big move. It's a Chinese stock. Power company, Chinese stock. I mean, I'm not saying I won't trade Chinese stocks, but I just want to see that it meets all my criteria for stock selection. And all right, so let's go back. So all my trades for April are tagged. All right, so let's go back to tag breakdown. And all right, so I think that even though my P&L is very sad for this month, I think the quality of my trading has improved. So here you can see that almost half of my trades were bull flag pullbacks, but a third of them were micro pullbacks. And I didn't come out ahead on that. I had a run of good micro pullbacks on one particular stock this month. Don't remember which one it was, but that is a setup that I will be going over in another video because I need to dive deep into it and figure out what's going on there. The break over whole $0.50 came out ahead on that. Gap and go, break of VWAP, and wow, what a surprise, no setup. It was a red trade. What a surprise. Okay, so you can see here that it can be really helpful to track what you're doing. You don't have to use an app like TraderView, but at least track your trades in a spreadsheet. And I really, really recommend tracking which setup you use. It's really helpful. I wish I had done it from the beginning. I don't know. I wasn't really understanding how important it is to have a setup because that really dictates, it helps you figure out if you're looking at the right things. So anyway, I really encourage you to track your trades in some way. Yeah, I just upgraded to the gold level in TraderView, and it gives you a lot of other information. Like this is one thing that I really love. Okay, so for this month, it gives you something called an MAE and an MFE, and I'm still learning more about that. But what I believe is it gives you the idea of like how much and how high and how low the prices went before you took your profit or loss off the table. So you can see that my profit factor is 1.02. Very sad. And my accuracy is really low. Like for the year, my accuracy is 73%. And I'm trading less. I think that's because I started the YouTube channel. I think I'm taking less trades, but higher quality trades. And that was one of the reasons why I wanted to start the channel was I'm a new trader. I want to learn. I wanted to help other people learn too. Through my process, I'm stumbling through it. And I've only taken 45 trades this month. So I think I'm taking less trades, but higher quality trades. But you can see my accuracy was higher. But I think a lot of those trades were lower quality trades with bigger losses. So, but this month my accuracy is a lot lower, but I feel like I have a better grip on what I'm doing. Honestly, I think the market's worse too, but if I hadn't been so careful, I think I would have done a lot worse. However, I'll let the numbers tell the story. I won't. So one of the things that I do love about it is that, like, say on an individual trade, you can put in your initial risk and then it will give you this net return number. So on this particular trade, I was willing to risk $50 or 10 cents a share. And I was able to, my profit was $56.06. That means my net return was 1.1192 times my risk. And I love that. That has been a game changer. So, all right, it is crickets out here. Let's take a look. BENF never made a run for break of VWAP. which if you look at my metrics on my trader view, it wouldn't make sense for me to even take that trade. Okay, I would be ahead if I had just stuck to bull flag pullbacks. If I had only traded bull flag pullbacks, I would have taken less than half the trades that I took, but I would have made way more money. So the numbers are telling a story. And I remember from statistics class when I got my MBA that you need at least 30 data points to have a statistically sound sample. And I took 45 trades so far this month. So it does exceed that 30 data point limit. All right, PAVS. Let's see what's going on with that. I feel like I've seen that one before too. All right. No news though. The price is what I'm looking for. It's under $10. The volume is, the float is 224,000. The relative volume is still under 5 times the 50-day average. It has gapped up though, more than 10% over the previous day's close. All right, so it only meets 3 out of my 5 selection criteria. So it's not making the cut yet. There's no news on Thinkorswim either. So I will be patient. I meditate every morning for 10 minutes, and that helps me so much. All right, so PAVS does not meet my selection. Sometimes the news pops up after, so let's watch it for a little while. And the relative volume is something that can change, right? It can increase. Let's look at the total volume, though. It's still under 1 million. And I'm going to get rid of some of these other things cluttering up my day trading list. I'm a little bit, I get a little bit type A about that. I want my list to be neat. All right, so let's see. We have, okay, so it's pulling back for a bull flag. Again, I will not be trading this because it doesn't have news, and the news catalyst is important to me. But let's just watch it for a minute. We can put it in the 10-second chart as well. Thanks, HG, for this 10-second chart. This has been a game changer. Very much appreciate it. And so I've started watching the 10-second chart thanks to one of my viewers, HG, and it's been a game changer. Definitely. I will be keeping it on my charts, and I will be using it for multi-time frame alignment. And I may trade off of it at some point. So I won't do that today. I'm going to give myself like a week watching it to get used to it and to, see it. I'm starting to see it though. I can see right here. Okay, so this pullback here on the 10-second chart is this pullback on the 1-minute chart, which on the 5-minute chart is in this candle. Okay. The relative volume is creeping up, but we don't have news. I don't even see news from yesterday on Thinkorswim. Sometimes if there's news after hours, it might be like a continuation of the previous day, but I don't see news on Thinkorswim from yesterday. So all right, let's see, where are we at? Where are we at, yo? Sorry, you'll have to suffer through some of my my jokes since we don't have a lot going on. Okay, so PAVS, again, I would not have traded this because it did not meet my criteria for stock selection. SQFT is popping back up, again, on no news. So that doesn't do it for me. This is looking like a no trade day. Looks like everybody is being cautious today. Let's do a mid pre-market check-in. How is the stock market doing today? Mid-morning check-in. Okay, it says U.S. stock futures are muted as investors weigh a hot 3.3% annual inflation reading against potential de-escalation in the Middle East. Okay, did the consumer price index come out yet today? That was supposed to come out today. Let's see. Did the CPI come out today? So yesterday, okay, it was released already at 8:30, showing inflation rose to 3.3% annually and 0.9% for the month. And the surge was driven by energy cost. But it was slightly below market expectations. Okay, so I realized that stock trading is really about technical analysis, but I do think it's important to understand the broader market when you're trading, and part of that is economic indicators. So two big ones that came out this week were the gross domestic product yesterday and the consumer price index today. Both of those are released by the Bureau of Labor Statistics. I used to work for the U.S. Department of Labor, and that was one of our agencies. So I'm not saying you have to be a fundamental analyst or an economist to trade stocks, but I do think it's helpful to have some basic understanding of what's going on in the broader market. It just helps you put things in context. Like knowing that futures are muted today makes me feel better about my no trade day. And you can't force stocks to pop up. You get what you get and you don't get upset, right? So GDP came out yesterday. CPI came out today. Okay. And I will probably talk a little bit about that in my Substack post later today. But all right, so we're nearly 2/3 of the way into my morning trading session, and there is nothing happening. But we don't know what's going to happen in the next hour. But I wouldn't be surprised given what's going on in the broader market and given the I wouldn't be surprised. Given the GDP, the consumer price index, stock futures, you just have to kind of like look at what's happening in the market. Okay. But it looks like everybody took started their weekend early. Okay. Looks like it's just me out there looking at the stock. I think it's just me right now, but as 9 a.m. approaches, we could have news at the top of the hour. News generally comes out at the top of the hour and the bottom of the hour. So we could get news at the top of the hour. And then, of course, market open at 9:30. I think it's worth sticking around for market open. I have not taken one trade today, and I have all my settled funds available. So I also feel like it's really important to spend the time in front of the charts and spend the time analyzing. That's how you get better. You have to put the time in. You don't have to trade with real money. You can trade with paper money, which is what I encourage you to do when you're starting out. But like if we look at SQFT, it popped up this morning on the scanners right at 7 a.m. And again, I'm not going to trade it because it doesn't meet my criteria. But you can see it just struggled with VWAP as a point of resistance, right? And then PAVS popped up here. No news. Yeah, no news. Popped up with no news, and then just not even stair step down, just kind of drop right down. I had this little false breakout over VWAP, okay, which is a setup that I have been looking at. The MACD was still technically green here. It popped up above VWAP, and there was volume, but I'm a big believer in with the break of VWAP, and this is a setup that I will definitely go over in the future, but I do think that waiting for confirmation of a full candle to complete above VWAP, same with the $1.50 breakout. I want to see confirmation. I want to see that it's not just testing that level, that it's actually going above that level. So here, I would not have taken this break of VWAP because it opened here and then, it popped up, but it didn't confirm it by closing above the level of VWAP. So let's see. Anything else on the OGN? Let's look at OGN. OGN. Good morning. I actually gave up tea time, yes, because I gave up caffeine a couple of months ago. This is rooibos chai herbal tea. Welcome to the chat. It's a little slow today. So far, it's a no trade day. Right now, we are looking at OGN, which popped up on the scanner. But the float is too high. The float is too high. It's above 20 million. So I'm going to take that off of my daily list because it does not make the cut. And right now we're looking at 2 stocks, but neither one of them have breaking news, so I will not be trading them. PAVS doesn't have the relative volume to meet my cut either. PAVS, the relative volume is still under 5 times the 50-day average. So I will not be trading either one of these without news, but that's what's been popping up. So I'm going to just keep an eye on it for learning purposes. Okay. And let's see. PAVS. What do I have in the 10-second chart right now? PAVS. Okay. So Thinkorswim does not have 10-second charts. You can set up like a chart based on ticks, which is a little bit different. And I tried to do that at one point, but now I use Warrior Trading's scanners. They're very good, and they do have a 10-second chart there. Thanks to one of my viewers this week, HG, I put the 10-second chart on my window, and I am loving it. You can see we are breaking above VWAP now, and the MACD is green, but we still don't have news. And the relative volume is 3.67 right now. It doesn't meet my minimum of 5 times the 50-day average. And the total volume for the day is 2.5 million. So, yep, unless there's no news, so I won't be trading it. This may be a no trade day. It happens. This is part of it. Okay, so we're at 9 o'clock now, or almost 9 o'clock. We have 1 minute to 9 o'clock. We could have some breaking news at 9 o'clock. We'll see. I will trade till, I'll stay on it till at least 10. If nothing's happening around 9:15, I'll take a quick break and for like 5 minutes. So PAVS is coming back up to high of day. I am so tempted because I haven't had one trade today and the relative volume is at 4 times the 50-day average. I'm so tempted, but I am sticking to my rules. Okay, and I want a news catalyst. So if I have to, I'll sit on my hands so that I don't trade. Yeah, that's so hard because I haven't had one trade today, but right now, I am just green on the week. I have been green the last 3 days. I'm just green on the week and I'm just green on the month. If I take one bad trade, that is going to wreck my week and my month. And I know it's small, but I want to stay green. So I am going to hold firm to my rules so that I would rather not trade, because if I trade with 500 shares, which is my normal share size, and I lose the trade and I get out at my stop of 10 cents a share, I could lose $50 and that's going to wreck my metrics for the week and the month. And honestly, it's not worth it. It would have to be a trade that meets all my rules. So PAVS, it's approaching, it's at 4.59 relative volume, but I'm holding steady. I'm holding the line. Let's see. What else is going on? RAYA. Now, the reason I didn't trade RAYA, even though the float was only 3 million, relative volume and the gap over previous day's close were great. I like the news. Well, it's okay news. All right, I misunderstood the news. It just announced something at a conference. Okay, it just announced something. That's not great news. I mean, you have to evaluate the news. Not all news is equal. Just simply having news is not necessarily a reason to trade the stock. Yes, it has to have news to meet my initial test, but then the quality of the news matters. And that's, but I don't know, maybe the market will think differently. Maybe the market will think that is amazing news, but RAYA is under $1. So it's climbing up, but I don't trade stocks under $1. I haven't had good luck on them. So I am hands off under $1. That's my philosophy on that. Maybe I'll change my mind in the future. I'm curious if other people trade penny stocks, but I don't right now. I have, and I haven't done that well, but I'm doing a better job at analyzing and tracking my trades. So hopefully, as I get better at tracking and analyzing my trades, hopefully that will be reflected in better results, because that is something that I can control. Remember, we're focusing on the things we can control and letting go of the things we can't control. I can control my rules. I can control my decisions. I can control my analysis. I cannot control what stocks pop up in the market every day, and I cannot control the result. I really can't. I can make a good trade and get a good result. I can take a good trade and get a bad result. Same thing. Sometimes there have been times, and I think I got lucky last year a lot, where I would take a bad trade, but I just got lucky. And it was by the luck of the gods that I was able to get a good result. I love those. I wish I could make all bad decisions. I would love to eat chocolate cake for breakfast and not gain a pound. That would be amazing. I don't know why we're spending our technology on space and space exploration. Why don't we spend this money on figuring out how we can all eat chocolate cake for breakfast and look fantastic and not gain a pound? That would be awesome. Okay. I feel like that would be money well spent. All right, so SQFT, again, right now it looks like, oh, it's popping up. Again, no news, so I am really staying far away from that. But if you look at the 5-minute chart, you can see it's just kind of hovering above and below VWAP. So for a while, it was hovering below VWAP. VWAP was a point of resistance. So resistance is usually above, okay? Resistance, like think about you're trying to stand up and it's resisting, you're getting resistance to stand up. And support, like a ceiling, right? Support is the floor holding the price up. Okay, so think of it like the floor under your feet. And in this case, VWAP is a well-respected point of resistance or support. And you can see that so clearly here, right? It dips below VWAP. Below VWAP, the bears are in charge. And above VWAP, the bulls are in charge, right? So, yeah, so everything about SQFT, let's see, float. The price is good. The float is under 1 million. The relative volume is crazy. It's like 781,703 times the 50-day average. It's gapped up 37% over the previous day's close. That's huge. But it doesn't have news. Why is it going up? This news here, I checked this news out, okay, and I'll tell you that, where is it? Why isn't it popping up? Where is that going? I don't know why it's not popping up, but I'll tell you that we did look at that, and oh, wrong window. Okay, so we did look at that, and when we looked at it, I can't find the window. When we looked at it, I think it was just simply saying that the price went up, and that's not good enough news. All right, LNKS just popped up. Let's evaluate that one. So first level of evaluation, the price is between $1 and $10. The float is 610,000, so that's below 20 million. The relative volume is 0.35, but it is gapped up. So I'm waiting for the volume to catch up. Let's see what the news is. Linkers Industries announces full exercise of cashless warrants. Okay, I'm not 100% sure. What are cashless warrants? Cashless warrant allows an investor to exercise stock warrants without paying the exercise price upfront in cash. Okay, so they're issuing these warrants. What does it mean to issue cashless warrants? I love the internet. I love technology. Words. Okay. All the answers are there. Oh, yum. Yeah, thank you. Sorry, I didn't see that. My chai rooibos is really good. Yes. I'm like hooked on chai rooibos. All right. So they don't have to pay the investors don't have to pay the strike price in cash. So this seems like good news, okay? And we're popping up. I am looking for a bull flag pullback. I'm not going to take anything else because I looked at my metrics earlier and I don't think I haven't been positive or green on any other setup. So we're going to wait. We're going to be patient and wait for a bull flag pullback. I'm not willing to risk my green week and green month on anything other than a great setup. But the relative volume is still not there. Right now, it's only 2 times the 50-day average. So it's still not meeting my criteria for stock selection. So we might miss the first bull flag pullback because I'm not willing to bend on my criteria today. I don't want to bend on that because I'm being really, really strict and cautious. I would rather take no trade than take a bad trade. And I'm not willing to take a chance. Let's put it that way. I'm not willing to risk my 50 bucks because I'm only up $25 on the month. If I have one red trade today, then I am down for the week and down for the month. So I am going to be very selective about taking any trade. And you can see that the total volume is only 1.1 million. Wow, look at RAYA, huh? 94 million. Wow. But again, I'm sticking to my rules. Okay, so let's put this in the 10-second chart. LNKS. Okay. Oh, it's climbing quickly. So now it's at 4.32 time. Oh, no, that's a different one. FGL. Let's look at FGL. FGL. All right. Founder Group Limited regains compliance with NASDAQ's minimum publicly held shares requirement. Okay. The float's good. Their relative volume is also under 5. Is that good news? Regaining compliance with with the number of shares requirement? I mean, I guess it is. Look at this big topping tail. This was another great session. Oh, thank you so much, Czar. You're welcome, Czar. Yeah, you're welcome. And please come back anytime. It's been great having you. Yeah, great. Good luck. Good luck with futures. Awesome. Okay. See you later. Have a good weekend. Awesome. Okay, so let's see. So I'm really looking at relative volume, and for those of you who have been following me this week and checking out my live stream, volume is my goal of the week. So I absolutely cannot fail on this. It's one of my pillars of stock selection, and I am writing about it over on Substack. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, I am addressing, each week I'm addressing a separate goal. And this week's goal was volume. So for both of these stocks that I'm watching right now, let me take these other ones off the table. LNKS and FGL, they are still not meeting my minimum requirement for relative volume, which is 5 times the 50-day average. So as tempting as this is, I am sitting out unless I get everything that I want. Because I have been burned. Last week, I took trades without the minimum volume, relative volume being there, and I got burned. And I am not willing to risk my green week and my green month on this. No way, Jose. So let's see. I was going to take a break, but I'm waiting for the relative volume to catch up to see if I can get in the game. I might sit out. I might stay on through market open and see if the relative volume picks up. It's approaching 5 for LNKS. It just seems like volume has been a struggle today. A lot of people are sitting out. Okay, so I didn't take the first pullback because of relative volume. And now it's possible that this is a second pullback, a second bull flag pullback, possibly. So I would be looking for the second pullback. And this would be the pull, right? The 3 parts of the bull flag pullback: the pull, the flag, and the breakout, right? So I'm almost at 5 times the relative volume. It's creeping up for sure. I'm looking at the 10-second chart, and it's kind of hovering around that price. There we go. It's either a micro pullback but on the 10-second chart, it looks like it's consolidating sideways. And on the 1-minute chart, it's kind of hovering there. So that's either a micro pullback or the beginning of the bull flag. And now I think it's the beginning of a bull flag, possibly. So I'm going to watch this one. On the scanner, it hasn't popped up over 5 yet. The relative volume is, there it goes. Is that it? Let me check. Okay, so now we have all 5 pillars of stock selection met on LNKS. All right, that's the first green light. So let's see if we get a bull flag pullback. This is where I have to exercise patience because I have been taking other setups, but clearly the bull flag pullback is where I'm making money, and then I'm taking money off the table with the other setups. So let's be patient. So right now, high of day is at $2.90. Okay, this is the top of the low candle, 289. Obviously, that would not make sense. So we want it to pull back enough that we have a clear entry point. Volume is pulling back on this candle. Okay. Right now, the price action is above VWAP. It's above the 9 EMA. It's above the 20 EMA. If I do get in on this, I think I'm going to reduce my share size. 100 shares. Normally, I would trade 500 shares. But this is the thing. If I trade 500 shares, I'm risking $50. And if I lose this trade, then I'm red on the week and red on the month. So given the situation today that nothing has popped up, I am going to reduce my share size and I'm going to trade 100 shares and risk $10. If I lose this trade and I get out at my stop, then I'm still barely, but I'm still green. Barely. All right, so now we've got this candle forming, okay? So now, possibly, this is possibly the high of the low candle. And this actually, we have a 10-cent difference between high of day, but if it pops above this candle, I want to see volume confirmation here. If I don't see the increased volume here, then I'm not taking it. I will sit out. And that's okay. It's really, really okay. If this is a no trade, there are going to be other no trade days. I have had no trade days and there will be more. So that just means I'm looking at quality over quantity. So it popped up, but the volume bar, see, look, the volume bar isn't quite there yet. It popped up. It's fighting. The volume is going up now. I don't know though. It's like fighting at that level. I don't know. I'm not feeling good about it. I know I'm only risking 10 bucks, but I'm not feeling good about it. See, this was like a false breakout maybe. I have been caught in a lot of those lately. Yeah, I'm not feeling it. Maybe it's because the total volume is only 4 million and well, clearly a lot of people are undecided about this because the price is hovering right under that $2.80 mark. I'm not the only one unclear if they should take this trade. So now it's really unclear to me. Is this the top of the low candle now? Like, this was pretty clear. The volume was going up, right? Here, the volume did pull back, but then there was a lot of selling on this candle. The price action went up, the volume increased, but it didn't look super clean. And now it's pulling back, and again, the volume is not super clean, but look at this. The volume's really low now. Okay. And even though I reduced my risk, I am still taking this trade as seriously as if I were trading 1,000 shares. I think my rules should be the same regardless. Well, this rejected. Now this is the low candle, and now we're tapping the 9 EMA and we're tapping VWAP. So let's look at this chart. It's pulling back, and on the 10-second chart, it's kind of popping up a little bit, but now I'm really starting to see it on the 10-second chart. Up, it's below VWAP, which means what? No. Below means no. I'm going to come up with all these little sayings. Below means no. And the MACD is now turned red. So I was willing to take a trade of 100 shares. I was willing to take some risk today. But listen, and I was patient. I was so patient, right? I waited for the relative volume to pop up. I was super patient. Let's look at FGL again, which was the other one we were watching. Again, this is sort of, it popped up, pulled back, popped up, pulled back. This could be like an ABCD pattern, which I have not traded that setup. I feel like that's a little bit more advanced than what I'm doing. So also look at the total volume, and now the MACD is red. So the total volume here is under $1 million. RAYA, I could be the dummy of the day for not taking this, but pull back, and now it's kind of stair-stepping down. I mean, I know there was opportunity there, but it doesn't fit my rules. LNKS. Wow, really tricked me. I was emotionally invested. I was like, come on, relative volume. And I gave up my break at 9:15 to watch this stock. Wait, this way. Watch this stock. So, yeah, I gave up my break. I'm not going to take a break now because the market's going to open. But actually, you know what I'll do? I'll take a really quick break. I will be back in under 5 minutes, and I will see you right as the market opens, okay? I'm back. I didn't miss it, did I? No. Okay, 1 minute to spare. All right, I got a new cup of tea. Anything else pop up? Well, SLP, but that's $15.53. And the news is Simulation Plus jumps on earnings beat, sees AI boost. Just for fun, for funsies, let's take a look. But I really don't want to trade anything over. Oh, that's a mess. Okay, that's a hot mess. I don't want to trade anything. Ideally, I want to keep it under $10 because then I can trade more. I trade in a cash account, right? So I want to optimize what I'm doing, but this is just not happening. Okay. And we're off. Okay. So let's see if anything pops up. Maybe if I can get a gap and go stock. So LFMD. Weren't we looking at that earlier? LFMD. I feel like we were looking at that earlier. Wow. Okay. Yep. LFMD. That's LNKS. Well, the MACD's still red on that one. So let me put this over here. I'm trying to organize my WOLF, wolf. I've seen that before. LFMD popped way up. LNKS popping up. But the reason I took LFMD off the table was the float. Okay, so that's off the table still. The float's over 20 million. So we're going to take that off the table. LNKS, the MACD is still red, so green means go, red means no. So I will not be trading LNKS while the MACD is red. I'm seeing a ton of things popping up, but they have no news. FGL? FGL just kind of went nowhere. So let's take that off. The daily volume is 338,000. That's just not enough. LNKS is a possibility, but again, I want to see that the MACD is green. I'm starting to dislike the market open because it's just chaos and you have these crazy algo spikes. I think they're algo spikes right on the first couple of candles. I feel like it's hard to trust the patterns. I mean, unless it's a clear gap and go, not really feeling it. It just feels really risky. I think I did 2 gap and go trades at the market open this month, and my net result was red. So just when I look at the data from the month so far, the clear winner is the bull flag pullback. That's the clear winner. Like if I had just not taken any other trades and only taken 14 trades this month, and they were all the bull flag pullbacks, I would have done way better. So that's telling me that that is the sweet spot. So we do have it, it's pulling back, but we've got this long topping tail here, which I don't love. And the MACD is still red. RIYA, that is the boat that I missed today, apparently, but I mean, clearly that was the stock of the day, but look at how the volume is going down, even though the price is going up. Yeah, but here it looks good. It's, yeah, I'm just waiting to see if anything pops up that meets my criteria for stock selection, first of all. And then it has to meet the other criteria, my technical indicators. Today has been crickets and tumbleweeds, but I'm proud of myself for not trading. I'm really proud of myself. This live stream has helped me so much already. Thank you so much, because knowing that it's live and knowing that it'll be posted on YouTube and immortalized forever is really, really helping me stick to my rules. And I've made mistakes the last couple of weeks, but a lot less mistakes. I'm really grateful. And yeah, I mean, I'm very proud of myself for a no trade day today. If it's no trade, I don't know. We still have 25 minutes left. I will stay on until 10 a.m. I will definitely stay on until 10 a.m. So LNKS is popping back up, but the MACD is still red. So, and I'm only, if I do take a trade, I'm only risking 100 shares. I'm only risking $10. I'm only taking 100 shares because I'm not willing to risk my green week and green month. And I know it's small, but it's mine. It's mine. I'm not giving it up. So, well, this has been an interesting week because the volume goal turned out to be much bigger than I expected. Much bigger. And I really encourage you to do the same thing. Each day you should have a goal in mind, and each week you should set a goal, and each month you should set a goal. And I know we're setting profit targets, but I'm talking about trading goals, skills-based improvement, okay? So we should all be doing that. I'm doing that, and I encourage you to do that. It's climbing up, but the MACD is still red. I always wonder, like, who is trading it when the MACD is red? Do you guys trade when the MACD is red? I guess I have it in my head that I'm just not going to do that. Although I have done it and I've regretted it deeply. Who is trading when the MACD is red? That's what I'm wondering. I don't know. And what indicators are you using? So, but doing this live and having some accountability has been awesome, because I am being a lot more selective about the trades that I do take. Let's see, FGL popped up again. FGL. Let's see. Okay, FGL. So FGL, let's make sure FGL is now meeting my criteria for stock selection. Okay, the relative volume is up there now. So if this is a bull flag forming, look at this. People think it's going to go up to, well, I don't know, or maybe they just bought over here and they have to sell, but when was this? This was last night after market. So, oh, Yikes. Whoa. Oh my God, that big red candle. What? Oh my goodness. Wow. That's crazy. That literally dropped all the way down below the 90 EMA, below the VWAP, down to the beginning of the move. I will not be trading this. I don't trust this now. And look at this, a huge run up. People are taking some risks, huh? Wow. Excuse me. That's crazy because look at that. Choppy, choppy. Wow. Oh, no one's on the live stream right now to see this. Oh, man. I wonder if anyone's watching this that was on my live stream earlier. So I won't be trading that because it's too, the price action is really choppy. Now we have a big topping tail. I mean, it meets my criteria for stock selection, but BBGI just popped up. I traded that very successfully earlier in the week. Let's see. But I don't see new news on it. And it's just under $10, which is high for me, but I have plenty of settled funds. I haven't taken one trade today. So I think I'm okay. Oh, look at that. Ew. Ew, ew. So yeah, look at that. Because I took trades on this the other day. Whatever day that was. So the 200 SMA is at $5. So this is above the 200 SMA on the daily chart. That's serving as a point of support, right? Underneath is support. LNKS still red on the MACD, but it's kind of trying to make a recovery again. I mean, BENF. Weren't we looking at that earlier? BENF. This might be making a break of VWAP. BENF might be trying to go for a break of VWAP. Now, I've been seeing break of VWAP more and more. But RAYA, okay. So we've got a couple of things we're watching. It's a lot going on, but LNKS is climbing up and the MACD is flipping to green. So now this could be another bull flag forming. So it popped up, down, up, down. Would you call this an A, B, C, D pattern? I think that's what that is, right? A, B, so it came up, A, B, C, D. All right, so now it's pulled back. Okay, so let's take a look here. This way. I'm looking and I'm looking for a bull flag to form. It meets my criteria for stock selection. The MACD is green. It's above the 9 EMA. It's above the 20 EMA. It's above VWAP. I mean, if we look at the daily chart, there must have been some kind of stock split or reverse stock split or something. public offering. Okay. Something happened obviously around this point because that simple moving average is so high. So here we could kind of see it pulling back. This is a lot of selling though. I would rather see this green, but this is a lot of selling on this red candle. So I would call that the high. Yeah, because that topping tail is like, yeah, I don't like this topping tail. It's the MACD is barely green though. It's like opening, but right. Am I willing to take a chance here? This might be the low candle now. The MACD is barely green. I don't love that, but let's see. Now we've dropped below the 9 EMA. We're tapping the VWAP. On the 10-second, you can see it's clearly coming down smoothly, but now it's dropping below VWAP. Okay, so this might be a pullback on the 5-minute chart. Like, look. Wow, that's too much. So this is dropping down all the way to the nearly the bottom of this move. I don't like that. And MACD's red. So now I'm kind of stuck because I was patient, waited for a bull flag to form, and it went red on the MACD. Yeah. Yep. And it went red on the MACD. So now the high of the low candle is way down here, and I mean, I don't know, this looks like it might be popping back up, but the MACD is red, and oh, wow. Today has been crazy rough. I see a couple of people have joined. Today has been, so far, a no trade day. Yes. And I just want to reiterate that I am proud of myself for that. I did not break my rules today. BENF, maybe going for a break of VWAP, but we are sticking to what? Bull flag pullbacks today. Because I looked at my metrics earlier for the month and bull flag pullback is the clear winner this month. So BENF, nope. Okay. So BBGI, I looked at it briefly, but now it's just fighting above and below VWAP. So I'm going to get rid of that. FGL dropped way down below VWAP. I'm taking that off the table. BENF, I have decided for today, I am only taking bull flag pullbacks. And that is after looking at my metrics and seeing that if I had taken no other trades this month and no other setups this month besides bull flag pullbacks, I would have come out way ahead. So today I've also reduced my share size because I don't want to go green on the week or the month. So I am really managing risk here. LNKS. So yeah. It's fighting right there at VWAP and the MACD is red. So I'm still going to stay on till 10 o'clock, but I'm going to be honest. I really think that I don't, unless something incredible comes up in the next 5 to 10 minutes, I will be calling this a no trade day. And that is 100% okay. I've had them before and I will have them again. I definitely feel like I focused on quality today. And you cannot control what pops up in the market, right? We can't control it. So, LNKS, I was rooting for you, but I was patient. I waited for LNKS to increase its relative volume. And once it hit 5 times the 50-day average, I was considering it. Then I was waiting for it to flip the MACD back to green. But you can see on the 1-minute chart, here I didn't trade it because I'll explain why I didn't trade it here. Because these look good, right? These pullbacks look pretty clean. But the reason I didn't trade this pullback is because the relative volume was too low. YDDL. Let's see. YDDL. Oh, yikes. Okay, that's got bad juju. Let's go back to LNKS. So the reason why I didn't trade it here is because the relative volume was less than 5 times the 50-day average. And that is one of my stock selection criteria. And I am being ruthless about sticking to that. So I didn't trade it here. Then the MACD was red. At one point, somewhere in here, while the MACD was red, the volume flipped to green. And so, the volume went over the 5 times the 50-day average. So then at that point, it met all my criteria for stock selection. So now at this point, I'm looking for a bull flag pullback because that is the setup that I'm going to trade. But we're red. This is the only part where it was green and it pulled back. And as it pulled back, right here, flipped to red. Okay, look at this long candle. And now the MACD is red, so it's out of the running. So unless a miracle happens with LNKS in the next 5 minutes, then I'm calling it. Let's see, what else? So I'm curious, did anyone else trade today? If so, what did you trade? Please let me know in the comments. I would love to know. Let us know in the chat, did you trade today? Fridays can be slow. So, I manage my expectations on Fridays. I say to myself, okay, it could be slow and that's okay. Sometimes I've had great Fridays, honestly. I've done well on Fridays. Traditionally, it's Mondays that have given me the problem, but that's what we get, right? This is the game. And so I'm just looking to see if there's anything else, but I think I don't see anything else. ZNTL. The flow is too. No, the flow is. Let's look at ZNTL. I'm just curious. It's on the top gainer scanner. ZNTL. Okay, so the price is right. And let's see. The float is too high. The float is too high. That's what's the problem. The float is 58 million. Okay, so we're going to get rid of that. If you're curious about float, I did a video on it and I explained the difference between shares outstanding and float. So you can check that out in my educational content, which is my day trading fundamentals. I'll be going over more educational content on all non-trading days, Saturdays, Sundays, trading holidays, and days where I'm traveling. Like I'll be traveling in 2 weeks, so there may be educational content if I can't actually day trade, depending on the day. So I will be, however, bringing my travel monitor, and I have traded on all my vacations since I started trading, and I will attempt to live stream on my trip. So that should be interesting. Okay, I will attempt to live stream on my trip. I'll also do a video about like what I'm taking with me to trade. So that'll probably be not this weekend, but next weekend. I'll post a video about my little travel setup and what I'm doing. I'll keep you guys posted. I'm curious what other people do when traveling. So, but I'm hoping that the connection's good at the hotel and that I'll be able to live stream. No fill at 251, then it went to a new high. On what stock? Oh, you're welcome. On what stock was that? You got no fill at 251 and then it went higher. Which ticker? I'm curious. Which ticker? No fill at 251. Which ticker is that? Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for being here. All right. It looks like we're at 9:55, and I think I am going to wrap things up. For those of you who've been joining me on the live stream this week, well, let me get rid of that. Let's see. Let me get rid of that. Okay. So for those of you who've been joining me, thank you so much. I think that pretty much wraps up the trading week. I'm going to shut down at 10 o'clock. Thank you for joining me. Trade with Raven. I'm a new trader. If you're a new trader, come along. I'm sharing my journey. Let's kind of help each other out. You're keeping me accountable, and I really appreciate it. I am also over on Substack. I'm posting Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays over there. Free content and exclusive content for paid subscribers. And I will be documenting mainly my weekly goal over there. This week it was volume. So after I've wrapped up the live stream and posted my daily recap, I will also later on today post on Substack. Well, oh, LNKS. Okay, LNKS. Oh, I see. Okay. Oh, so you didn't get filled. Maybe you had a large share size, right? Large share size? You must have put a limit order, right? Not a market order. So anyway, that's okay. All right. Well, maybe it's all for the best that you didn't get filled, right? Because LNKS kind of took a nosedive. So it was fates intervening on your behalf. So anyway, I hope that you guys have a wonderful weekend. I will be back next week. I'm going to live stream every day next week. And I will be posting educational content on Saturday and Sunday. And that's pretty much it. So trade smart, and I will see you next week. Have a great weekend.